more than 30 years, Toledoan Eric Misch told anybody who would listen that he had nothing to do with a 1992 killing.
And this morning, a court agreed clearing Misch of the crime. Lead investigator Brian Duggar was there and has the story.
Misch was just 16 years old when Vernon Huggins was beaten to death in Wilson Park. As a teen, Misch was shocked to learn that police believed he and 4 friends were responsible for that crime. But they did, and he spent more than half his life in prison. This morning, his legal journey ended with his name cleared. On December 9, 1993, a jury rocked Eric Misch's world, finding him guilty of helping to beat a man to death in the summer of 1992.
Honestly, everything went numb. Everything was like, I guess it was like you can't hear nothing, or, you just standing there like, I'm like, I didn't know how to react. It was just.
But this morning, instead of shock, there were hugs as Judge Gary Cook dismissed all charges against Misch. Outside the courtroom, Misch celebrated with his family.
It's a big burden off my shoulders. I feel like it's like really a breath, like I can finally breathe, and I don't have to go and say, I don't have to ask a parole officer, can I leave the state?
Nearby, Willie Knight also celebrated. Knight understands Misch's frustrations and relief. He was pardoned by Governor Mike DeWine in 2022 for a 1996 murder conviction.
It's a great day, especially for Eric Misch and for all those that's coming behind him with claims of innocence. We're thankful for the prosecutor's office for seeing the truth, and we believe that a lot more will come out shortly.
In June, Judge Cook granted Misch a new trial after it was discovered hundreds of pages of potential evidence were never turned over to defense attorneys or even the prosecutor. Multiple Crime Stoppers pointed to other suspects in Huggins' murder.
There's one specific document that I think was, the most shocking and the most impactful. And I remember getting to that, and am I reading this right?
An hour after the hearing, Misch and his attorney, Joanna Sanchez, sat down to discuss that document, an interview with Huggins' uncle, and the entire legal journey.
While those individuals were there at the uncle's house, they confronted Vernon over some money he owed them, and one of them was carrying an object that's consistent with what the suspected murder weapon was. And what's critical is that this all took place hours after the state had claimed Eric and his co-defendants had committed this murder.
More than 30 years later, Misch still remembers the lonely first night in prison.
A lot of crying. A lot of crying. I struggle with my belief in God. It's why? Everybody's always asking why. There's always a purpose. My mom always taught me, God's he ain't gonna put something on your shoulders you can't handle.
And now he's hoping he can keep others from losing the faith.
I just hope that people can keep faith in themselves, that they're truly innocent, and they know they are. Just keep faith, have faith in God. For real, I struggled with it, but I'm starting to see that he really has laid out a path for me.
So, Brian, you mentioned during this entire piece, you said there were 4 other friends who were involved. So what has become of them?
Yeah, there's actually a hearing late this afternoon for Louis Castilla, Joseph Ricard, Larry Vasquez, and Mel Vasquez. So they had that hearing. They all say they're innocent. So it's actually possible that the prosecutor could drop charges in these cases as well.
Why did the prosecutor drop the case, I guess, in the first place? And do they think that he really is innocent?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. They really had big issues with this case and trying to retry it. The lead detective died and the other detectives don't remember the case at all. Plus, there were hundreds of pages of good evidence that neither the defense nor the prosecutor even saw. So legally, that's a really big problem.
All right, so the big question now is what's next in all of this?
Yeah, what's next? I talked to Eric for about an hour today. He's really focused on his family and his job, rebuilding his life. But he does have the opportunity now to sue for wrongful imprisonment. And if he wins, he'd be eligible for $64,000 per year of imprisonment. So reporting in studio, this is Brian Duggar for 11 Investigates.
All right, thanks, Brian. Our 11 Investigates team has brought you several stories on the claims of innocence of Toledo and Eric Misch, who you just heard about. If you want to look back on our coverage, just head over to our website and click on the 11 Investigates tab.